You're not recording yet.
No, of course I'm not
Paul,
recording.
you're not putting that on it because it looks like a porn interview.
Don't worry,
Paul!
we'll edit that out.
Fuck off!
How do you do it?
Paul!
Howdy, folks. It's it's like comedy gold. Completely unscripted. Right.
I hate you sometimes, you know that.
Oh yeah, but you can't stay angry.
No, I was saying that the other day on my live stream. That, you know, after 5 years, you know, it's a long time. You eventually always end up having a little bit of a bickering every now and then.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, discrepancies and so on. But I can never stay mad at you long. Even when I should stay mad at you for long, I can never stay mad at you for long periods.
That's because I'm just fantastic.
Yes, yeah, you are.
Anyway, what?
Did you shave or something today? Oh my god! Seriously.
You see how much attention she pays to me.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Didn't you? Yeah.
Oh, well, you think so?
Yeah, you look skinnier.
You noticed? Oh, right, okay. So,
Yes. Also, you came around the office earlier. I was like, damn, he's looking good. What he has done today. Alright.
I put a new t-shirt on, that's what it is.
Oh yeah, what's the t-shirt this week?
This week, I've had this t-shirt for years. It basically says, pirates are way cooler than ninjas. There's a ninja on that side looking all pissed off, and a pirate on that side doing that.
Oh my god.
Because I've got a whole bunch of other t-shirts coming.
Mm-hmm.
I told you about it, but obviously I didn't tell them about it. There's this website called QWERTY, and they just specialise in t-shirts, custom t-shirts, and they have a bunch of it. They're not all available all the time. Like they'll print 500 of each, and they're on sale for a week. So every time you go,
edition.
yeah, they're all limited edition. So every time you go back, there's something new there. So I got a couple. One of them's this black t-shirt, and it's just in white lettering. It just says 2020, written by Stephen King.
Yes. Yeah.
Another one, you know, the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's got the Close Encounters of the Third Kind like logo on it, with the road stretching off into the distance and weird lights in the sky, and it just says no close encounters of any kind, with a 2 meter separation warning label in the middle of the road. So I don't want to spoil everything, but there's going to be brand new. I'll be wearing a different t-shirt every episode. I mean, I've got so many t-shirts.
You do, and you threw away a lot as well.
Yeah, I threw away a lot.
You didn't have the space for it. It was just crazy.
Yeah, no space, because every time we go to a convention, we get a t-shirt, or 2, or 3, or 4.
Yeah.
And I had I've had this. I forget where I got this from.
Yeah, that was
Jinx.
before I met you.
Yeah, I think I got these from Jinx. I got a whole bunch of World of Warcraft t-shirts, and just geek culture t-shirts from this place called Jinx, that are also very, very good. I think they're called Jinx.
The name is familiar.
Might be wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, so new
Time for
t-shirts
drinkies.
coming. Time for drinkies. This one's for you.
All right.
Oh, this one's for me.
Oh, that's a cute little logo.
Yeah, I love this one. I ordered a bunch of beers of the world, and some of them were a bit hit and miss.
All right.
For example, we got a couple of bottles amongst the package. You got good stuff like proper Budweiser, the Czech one.
All right.
But you also got Carlsberg.
I've noticed, like, why is he having Carlsberg?
Which, it technically, if you're in Britain, it's a beer of the world.
Yeah.
But it's not, you know, an Amstel, which I don't mind. But these are beers that you can get in the supermarket. You know, Holsten Pils, Amstel, Carlsberg, Heineken. They're not exactly beers of the world. But amongst them was some good stuff. So,
This is Scottish.
proper Budweiser. Yeah, I know. This is one of the things that I picked it up and I thought, oh, it's a German beer. It's called Scheihallion. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
It's a cute little logo.
A German beer. No, crafted in Scotland. At the Harveystown Brewery. So I've got no idea what it's like. But it's a Pilsner. So I'm sure it's going to be good. Anyway, you try that one.
Okie dokie.
And I've also ordered a whole bunch of Oktoberfest beers, and beers of Germany and Belgium. So they're arriving later this week.
This chin chin. Saúde. You know, if I tasted this blindfolded,
Yeah.
I'll know this came from the UK.
Uh-oh.
No, it's just it's a very distinctive taste.
That's good. I don't smell anything on this one.
Paul, you smoke, you don't have any smell sense. This is much softer.
Yeah, that tastes... I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's a very distinctive taste from what you get in the UK.
It almost tastes like a bitter or an ale rather than a pilsner.
It does. It really does. It's good. It's good. It's...
This is
It's an
great,
easy pass.
obviously. It's Budvar. So, which they have to call it... That's the strange thing. They don't have to call it Budvar
Alright.
in Europe.
Okay.
Budweiser took them to court and tried to make them stop calling it Budweiser in Europe.
Alright.
But they've been around longer than Budweiser, and they're from Europe, so they basically got told to fuck off.
Wasn't that the ones from America?
Yeah. They're owned by the biggest brewing company in the world. They own like nearly everything. And the original Budweiser, the Czechoslovakian, well, can we say Czechoslovakian anymore? The Czech.
That's the thing. I still do the same.
Yeah.
In Portugal,
Old
we mostly
habits.
just yeah.
Yeah, these were the guys, they've been around longer, brewing beer longer, under the name Budweiser longer, but they have to call it Budvar
Yeah.
in America because of Budweiser. So, yeah. But, yeah, which is kind of strange because they don't have to call it Budweiser here in the UK because we're in Europe. Well, because we're just next to Europe. We used to be in Europe, but now we're just next to Europe.
That ship has sailed.
Yes, that ship sailed. And they've still got Budweiser, Budvar on the bottle. I suppose it's to avoid confusing stupid people. But yeah, it's good stuff. It even says Czech imported lager. Produced from the finest Saaz aroma hops, carefully selected Moravian malt, and soft water drawn from wells 300 metres deep. 700 years of brewing tradition guarantee the best quality of Budweiser beer. 700 years of brewing tradition. So yeah, I think they probably were around before the American brewery.
Talking about brewing stuff, Hapa Fodder from World of Warships, he sent me some links to make whiskey with coffee. Coffee whiskey.
What?
Yes, apparently it's a thing. I'm very, very intrigued by it.
Okay, well, you first.
Yes.
Anyway, coffee whiskey.
Yes, I'm very intrigued. I love coffee, I love whiskey. What can go wrong?
Yeah, what could possibly
I mean,
go
the
wrong?
pot kettle at the brewery,
Yeah,
the coffee beer, that was amazing.
I don't remember that.
No? Oh, it was so good. So good. Anyways, let's crack on.
Beer.
Yes! Called pot kettle.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to make a correction to something that was stated in last week's episode of Mingles with Jingles. The whole Ubisoft changing their terms of service and basically owning you and all of your family members down to the 7th generation if you ever use any of their stuff. And they're like, oh, that's it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla can go and fuck off.
Yeah.
Can choke on a big bag of dick.
Okay.
Well, it turns out that they're not quite as evil as we may have first been led to believe.
Alright. What's up? Tell me.
I can't remember the name of the website or the YouTube video that I watched that drew my attention to this in the first place. But you can't really blame him for getting it a little bit wrong because the way that the terms of service were written
Mhm.
was so vague and badly written
Yeah.
that it's no surprise that people
Miss-
read the
yeah.
worst into it.
Yeah.
So there are a number of YouTube lawyers, actual lawyers who have YouTube channels,
Mhm.
who've gone into this in greater detail. And one of them in particular is called Hogue Law. The major point of contention is that all of this, for those of you who didn't see last week's episode, Ubisoft are changing their terms of service as of next month.
Mhm.
Basically saying they own everything that you do with the Ubisoft game. They own your likeness. If you stream a Ubisoft game, if you put a video up of yourself playing a Ubisoft game, and you're responsible for what on earth is she doing?
Ju.
Yes.
Careful.
Careful. She's a big old unit.
Yes.
Basically, owning absolutely everything that you do and holding you responsible for everything that you do with Ubisoft titles. Forever and in perpetuity, and without having to give you any credit or pay you anything, and holding you responsible if somebody else sues them because of something that you did, and blah blah blah, and so on and so on and so on. And so on. Only on their services.
All right.
So on Uplay.
Okay.
So this all appears to have been very, very, and even the lawyers that were looking at it and putting up YouTube videos in response to it said that this was so badly written and so vague that it's completely understandable that so many people read it the wrong way, because it was written very badly. But it's only on on Ubisoft's own services, so Uplay. Now at the moment you can't stream to Uplay. I'm pretty sure you can't stream to Uplay. There's very little that you can upload to Uplay, but it looks like Ubisoft are probably writing this terms of service to prepare
For something.
in the future that's going to be rolled out on Uplay.
Okay.
So they're not evil. Well,
Oh my god.
Ju's scratching at the window. Oh, they're not as evil as we may have been led to believe. I mean, they're still an evil games publisher, but everything that was reported in last week's episode of Mingles Jingles was way exaggerated.
Yeah.
It's only on Ubisoft's own services where they own everything that you upload to
Makes
it
sense.
on their games, which is kind of fine. Apparently it's the same kind of wording that you see in Twitter's terms of service, because Twitter have to cover their arse
Yep.
for anything that gets uploaded to Twitter, although Twitter are seen as a publisher and not an editor, so they're not as responsible for stuff that goes up on Twitter, although there's a political fuss getting kicked off at the moment about that, because they put some fact checking on a certain American president's tweets, and he's now threatening to go after them. But you can kind of politics and religion stay away from them with a yardstick, but Twitter's, how can we put this, immunity, if you like, to certain responsibilities is because they're a publisher of other people's tweets. They're not an editor, and if you start editing, you're opening yourself up to all kinds of responsibilities.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yes, Ubisoft, not quite as evil as we may have first been led to believe. I mean, they're still an evil games publisher, but they're not, they're not actually actively satanic. So there you go. Next subject. I put a video up this week, World of Warships. If it's stupid but it works, where somebody had submitted a replay, and they got an incredibly good result. Did a shit ton of damage, sank a whole bunch of ships, but the way they played, and if you're making mistakes that are so bad that I can see it, right?
Yeah.
They're pretty obvious mistakes. But I did the video not to laugh and point at the person, but to say, well, okay, I like when you did this, but this I hated, and explained why what you did was a bad idea.
Yeah.
So hopefully the person that sent the replay in, and anybody else watching it who didn't quite understand why something was as bad as it was, would learn from it. That was the whole.
To be constructive.
Yeah, to be constructive criticism. That was the whole point. Instead of just going, ha ha ha, you're an idiot. Well, this was dumb, and this is why it was dumb. On the other hand, if you'd done this, blah blah blah, and so on and so on and so on. The video seemed to polarise my audience a lot.
All right.
There were people who hated it, and there were people who loved it.
Okay.
The people who hated it because it was just so painful to watch. And then the people who loved it because they really appreciated the constructive criticism and they learned a lot from it. And what seemed to be the case was that people who were very good at World of Warships fucking hated that video.
Yeah.
And newbies, people who weren't very good at World of Warships, absolutely loved the video. So, sorry, cats. Which one's that?
That's Crystalline.
That's Crystalline. Oh yeah, that's Crystalline.
I think she's being playful.
She is. She's not usually playful. Normally she just sits in the corner and stares at everything.
Or hisses at everything.
Yeah. And now she's behind. She's on the cat tree. In fact, they're all on the cat tree, and they're all behind the curtain. And one of them is going for the painted miniatures.
Yes, Jojo. No, little girl.
Oh dear.
She already lost her hat because of her.
Yes.
No, little girl. Oh wait.
Every week I seem to say, never work with children or animals.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait.
And Susie.
Come on, heavy chunka. Yeah, she was going for the miniatures again. Apologies.
So, what we talked about? Oh yeah. So I'm kind of torn on whether or not I should continue doing that sort of video. I mean, that's going to depend on whether or not people send in replays that are suitable. But, like I said, the audience was split kind of right down the middle. A lot of people hated it, a lot of people loved it. There was hardly anybody who thought, nah, whatever. It was the Marmite of World of Warships videos.
Mm-hmm.
So let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, is it a good idea? I can't guarantee that I'll be able to do any more of them unless somebody sends in a replay for those specific purposes.
Actually.
But I certainly enjoyed doing it, and I liked being a bit more constructive than just, I mean, sitting and just laughing at things is fine as well. Hey, Kristen. Hey,
Good. Oh, she wants to go.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Claws. This is why I don't pick her up.
Sometimes she wanted to do something.
You can pick Juicy up. It's fine. Put her on your shoulder. She's perfectly happy. You pick Akazuki up and pet her, and she loves it. Crystalline doesn't like being picked up. No matter how tight you hold her, no matter how secure you try to make her feel, the claws go into your shoulder.
Yeah, she does that every now.
She doesn't trust it.
Oh, on stream I just can have her like so,
Yeah.
and she actually gets upset when I put her on my lap because she just wants to be on my arms, but she has her moments. Yeah.
So anyway, let me know what you think. Whether or not I should or shouldn't continue doing that kind of video.
To be honest, I mean, I see it as a positive thing because it gets to teach players to be better, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it can be painful to watch a newbie play the game and not being aware of its mistakes, but at least it teaches.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm just saying it's constructive. I think it's a positive kind of video.
But I just caught on to when you said a newbie playing and making mistakes. This guy was in a Tier 8 destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
Tier 8. And yet, at the same time, recently somebody sat down and calculated how long, if you prepared to use all of the economic flags, the boost experience and so on and so on, how long it would take you to get from Tier 1 to Tier 10. Just going straight up one line in World of Warships.
Just look at how long it took me to get to Tier 8.
30 battles.
Yeah.
In 30 battles you can be at Tier 10 in World of Warships.
In a sense I enjoy that World of Warships is not as grindy as World of Tanks.
Yeah, I think it could stand to be a little bit grindier though.
Yes. But I personally would not go through the grind, another World of Tanks grind.
No.
That's why I like World of Warships, because I don't feel like I am wasting my time playing the game.
You're seeing concrete results.
Exactly.
Every day.
Exactly.
Whereas in World of Tanks,
it's just yes. I remember grinding the T95 back before the speed buff. Oh, that was
its top
awful.
speed 12 kilometers per hour?
Yes. There was this one time I literally just took the W key with something, so it just would walk forward on its own. You could press R there, but I totally forgot that. I just put something, lock it in there.
You can set throttle.
Yes, I totally forgot that. I just press the key and just go.
It makes more of a point if you put a weight on the W key then.
Yeah.
I get it.
Just slouch on the chair
and you don't seem to have the ships in World of Warships that are just painful to play when you first unlock them.
Yeah.
You know, like what's a particularly? Oh God, the VK 3001P. Do you remember what that used to be like? Stock.
Yes.
Oh. Oh, it was so slow with the stock engine. It's like it's like you say, driver, go faster, and you would write a letter to the driver, hand it to a tank going past to stick in the mail, and then it would get diverted via Russia, eventually arrive via donkey messenger at the driver's hatch. The driver would then pass the message back up to the commander, because the driver can't read, and the commander would say, "It's for you, go faster." And then the driver would put his foot down and, oh my God, that thing took so long to get up to speed.
Talking about being slow, one thing that, and I also notice a lot of people saying that World of Warships is a slow game, but I've realized that World of Warships actually goes faster than World of Tanks.
Well, of course it does.
Yes, but when you're watching, when you're backseat gaming, it looks slower than World of Tanks. World of Tanks looks more active, but then you play both games, and World of Warships actually keeps you more busy than World of Tanks. It's weird.
Yeah, there's more. It's like you get periods of nothing happening because you're behind an island, or there's nothing spotted, or there's nothing there for you to shoot at.
Yes.
But then when it starts happening quick.
You get really busy.
Right, it can take you a while to get into trouble.
Yeah.
But it takes you longer to get out of trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
World of Warships. You can be. I mean, I've seen people in full health tier 10 heavy cruisers. Not giving broadsides or anything. Not showing broadside to get citadel hit. Just getting shot at by 3 or 4 different ships at the same time. High explosive spam, and that cruiser's health bar just goes.
Yep. Dead
in a minute. Gone. Slower than you can die in World of Tanks.
Yep.
But it just seems to go. I mean, but in World of Tanks, you start getting shot at. You start taking a lot of damage. You can be very quickly not getting shot at anymore.
You just back off
by backing off.
Yeah. That doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen in World of Warships. It might take a minute for you to get spammed down from full health to nothing, but it's going to take you 2 minutes to get into cover. So that minute doesn't seem like it's lasting very long at all.
Yeah.
More on World of Warships later.
Oh dear.
But moving on to the next subject. Oh yes, I have to give a big shout out to NepNep on my Salt Mines Discord, who brought to my attention, well...
I just read the phrase.
So, you know how Sony are evil,
mm-hmm.
and Naughty Dog, and The Last of Us 2, the whole big fuss about the massive leak from The Last of Us 2, which went up on numerous different places on the internet, which I still haven't seen, by the way.
I have.
And then people re-uploading and using snippets of it in videos and getting hit by copyright strikes and DMCA takedowns, which is fine. That's Sony's right. It's their copyrighted material. It was leaked. It shouldn't have been shown. Other people are re-uploading it. Then can't blame them. But then other people were talking about. They weren't showing any of the content. They weren't putting screenshots or video clips up. They were just talking about it. And Sony went after them with DMCA takedowns. And then other people started talking about Sony going after people with DMCA takedowns when they weren't actually breaching any copyright. And Sony went after them with DMCA takedowns.
Yeah.
So it's just been this massive abuse of power. Well, anyway, it turns out that PlayStation Europe's Twitter account posted, because they were doing their job and promoting The Last of Us 2, which comes out in a month or two, and they had put a video clip and linked it on Twitter and tweeted about it. And Sony hit them with the DMCA takedown strike.
Jesus.
So Sony are DMCAing themselves
Yep.
over The Last of Us 2. Now, at first I thought, this can't be right. There's surely the screenshot, because the screenshot showing before and after with the, with the video clip and the play button on it, and Sony's tweet, and then after the tweet and the video clip just said this image has been removed for copyright reasons. Surely that's been photoshopped. No.
No.
No, it was real.
No.
Okay, so surely somebody posing as the company that Sony uses to administer its copyright claims, somebody's posed as that company for a laugh.
Yeah.
And issued a DMCA notice for Twitter to take it down. And no, it has been investigated. I have seen the evidence. And the takedown was initiated by, I forget the name of the company, but they're the company that Sony hires to handle all of their takedowns. So Sony has hit itself with a takedown claim for a tweet made by PlayStation Europe promoting The Last of Us 2. That's right.
2020 is being such a weird.
They're lashing out at everybody who mentions it, even themselves. And also, mentioned in last week's Mingles with Jingles, the fact that Sony are abusing the copyright laws, not just to protect their copyright, but also to silence anybody talking about their copyright, and to silence anybody talking about their abusing the copyright laws. And none of the mainstream media outlets have picked up on this. I mean, this is a major media corporation flouting the law to silence its critics. And no mainstream media websites, news sites, and the light just went off. That's kind of bizarre. There we go. Have picked up on it. Nobody's reporting on it. And I speculated, well, hang on, Sony are a major media corporation. They probably own all of the news sites. Not all of them. I got an email this week in response to last week's Mingles with Jingles from, I probably can't say who it is yet because they haven't replied to me, because they asked me for more information about what Sony are up to.
All right.
Now, I am about as far as you can possibly get from being a primary source on this subject, so I provided them with links to, there's a website, I think they're called Reclaim the Net,
All right.
who led with the story. And they have a lot of articles and sources on those articles, so that, and also the fact that PlayStation Europe have just DMCA'd themselves for talking about The Last of Us 2. The video, by the way, is still up. You go to the PlayStation Europe site, the video's still there, but the tweet linking to the video has been taken down for copyright breach. So I sent this information to this news site. They got in touch with me. I say news site, they're a news station.
All right.
I said, is it okay if I mention this in Mingles with Jingles? They haven't gotten back to me yet. So all I'll say is a major Danish TV news network is looking into the story. So it's starting to gain traction. Good. Fuck Sony. Anyway. Do you have a Patreon?
I do.
Patreon, did you get an email from Patreon?
I did.
It's not as bad as you think.
Oh, I didn't even think much of it.
Okay, so I got an email from Patreon this week saying that we're going to have to start charging sales tax. So, I support a number of people on Patreon. A number of you support me on Patreon. Thank you very much, by the way. Also, thank you to everybody who supports me on Floatplane, who subscribes to watch my videos on Floatplane. You guys are basically, because YouTube has been getting very hard to earn a living on YouTube over the last couple of years. So thank you to everybody who supports me on Patreon, everybody who supports me by subscribing on Floatplane as well. You are the guys who are largely responsible for helping keep my head above water. But Patreon, and I saw this email, I thought, oh God, what now? They're going to have to start charging sales tax. in certain countries. And those countries are, and by the way, this is to people who are supporting people on Patreon and are in one of these countries. But before, even if you hear your native country on the list, don't panic, because it's not everything that it's cracked up to be. So if you're in Australia, Belarus, Iceland, India, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, Quebec in Canada, nowhere else in Canada for some strange bloody reason, French, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, Switzerland, Taiwan, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, or 36 of the states in America, plus the District of Columbia. Then, as of next month,
All right.
July I think it is, so when you see this it's going to be the 1st of June, so as of next month, if you were in any of those countries, and some of those countries have sales tax rates as high as 20%, then you will have to start paying sales tax on your Patreon payments. But, and this is something that was not made abundantly clear in the email from Patreon, because I investigated a little further, they do have a frequently asked questions and blah blah blah, and click the links and see the details, but in the email itself they didn't mention this part. Donations or pledges,
All right.
so if anybody pledges you $1 a month, for example, yeah, are currently exempt from tax in most states. When they say states, they mean countries, not just American states. So this is basically no big deal. Well, it might be, but for anybody who supports me on Patreon, this is probably not going to affect you, because
It's
pledges are exempt from tax in most states. However, and this is the part that I think is funny,
Tell me.
if you support somebody on Patreon to get exclusive streamed content,
Ooh. Then it becomes a sales tax.
or download digital goods like exclusive Patreon only photo sets.
Like my OnlyFans.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, guys.
So you know what my OnlyFans is, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just doing a Rita and go, yeah,
Yeah, uh-huh.
my only.
Yes.
What's my only?
My OnlyFans.
What's my only fans?
You really don't know?
No, why
I'm
should I know?
surprised.
Why are you surprised? What is it?
Well, it's pretty much that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's like all them hoes on Twitch who have Patreons and do nude photo sets for subscribers only.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you're going to start paying sales tax on those. That's exactly the sort of thing.
But I think I don't think there's. I mean, probably there's that sort of thing on Patreon, but my OnlyFans is a separate website, and there's not such a thing as sales tax in there. As far as I'm aware, I don't have an account there.
How would you know? How do you know so much about this, Rita?
Because of iDubbbz and his girlfriend.
Because of
iDubbbz is the same.
Is this a millennial thing? Is this a millennial? Is this a millennial twat thing that us Generation X twats don't get?
Oh, it's yeah, it is.
Okay.
It really is. I love iDubbbz though.
Who's iDubbbz?
iDubbbz is a YouTuber, and he makes some really amazing edgy content.
Right.
And his girlfriend.
Is he the guy that does the Skyrim will bang okay videos?
No, that's Gamer Poop.
Oh, that's Gamer Poop.
Yes.
I know Gamer Poop. He's funny.
Jarl Balin.
Will bang
Woman,
okay.
I'm Lord of the Rings. Haters gonna hate. Woo! Your mother's
Seriously,
gonna hate. Woo!
check out Gamer Poop. There are very few things that she laughs at that I also think are funny, but Gamer Poop's one of them.
I love that. It's one of those few things I brought you to see, and
Yeah.
you laughed along with me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Normally she's like, I hear her cackling like a drain. I'm like, what? She's like, come on, you got to see this, you got to see this. And she plays it, and it's just, you can hear crickets and
Yeah.
tumbleweed rolling in the background, and in the distance there's a bell tolling, and I'm just... don't get it. Or I get it, I just don't think it's funny. But she's choking, she's laughing that.
But yeah, where do we go? No, yeah, iDubbbz. He did things like Content Cop on other YouTubers, which, I mean, really, really good content, very edgy.
He's not one of those gossipers, is he? He just
No.
calls out other YouTubers.
No, not really. He's
Not
more
really.
the type that goes and eats chicken in a sewer.
You see? Yeah.
Yes. He really did that. He really did that. Anyways, his girlfriend created my OnlyFans account. And now everyone is going after him for being a simp, for allowing it to happen.
Right. His girlfriend is posing for nude photo sets and sending them out to complete strangers who pay money for them on the internet.
Yes. And he made a video defending the whole thing, how he is okay with it, and he's just created a whole, internet thing that iDubbbz is a simp now.
He's okay with it, is he?
Yes. Yes.
I'm sure. What he means is he can't make her stop.
Yes.
Right. Anyway, I don't even know who this guy is. I mean, why do I
You
care?
should. You should see.
Yes, gaming news this week. Extremely quiet, like nothing.
Crickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bells tolling in the background, tumbleweed rolling. Nothing's happening. Some games are having their releases shifted to avoid clashing with Cyberpunk 2020.
That doesn't surprise me.
Think about it, it kind of makes sense. Do you know which games are having the release date shifted?
No.
Excuse me. Good to hear.
Oh my god.
Factorio 1.0.
Alright.
You know what that is, yeah?
I've heard of it.
You have. It's more than me. I'd never heard of it. But that was that was the biggest piece of gaming news this week. Factorio 1.0 is having its release date shifted a month early, so it doesn't clash with Cyberpunk 2077. And I've never heard of Factorio 1.0.
I have heard of the game, but I don't remember what's about.
Well, apparently it's in beta at the moment, and its full release is coming.
Okay.
You start off with axes and chopping wood, and it's a factory simulator where you build factories.
Okay.
Apparently, it's really good, but I'd never heard of it until today when I saw this news post.
Okay.
It's kind of like, it's not quite like a survival game, but you know the whole building thing where you like in Subnautica, first you get some vines and then a bit of copper, and then you make a knife, and then with a knife you can make better things.
Yeah.
So it's like that. You start off with like stone axes, chopping trees down and making spears and stone and wooden walls and stuff, and then eventually you're running nuclear power plants and nanotech factories and blah blah blah. So it sounds really good. Apparently it's been getting great reviews, and it's going into full release a month early because they didn't want to clash with Cyberpunk 2077.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and that's the biggest piece of gaming news this week.
To be honest, I don't think so.
Well, there is another, but yeah, go on.
Greymore.
Who?
Elder Scrolls Greymore, the expansion thingy came out this week.
Did anybody care?
Yeah. Yes.
Is this for Elder Scrolls Online?
Elder Scrolls Online. Yes. I haven't played yet, but Bethesda, they gave me a key. Well, they gave me a code so I can try Greymore for free, and they gave me the whole premium thing. It wasn't just the standard access, was the premium access to it. So my account is pimping now. So thank you so much, Bethesda. They also gave me a code for Fallout 76.
What, that game that you bought?
Yes. So I must, do a giveaway because I don't want the key to go to waste.
You're going to give away a key to Fallout 76?
Yes, because the game is actually playable now.
How much are you going to pay somebody to take it?
Oh, fuck no. The game is actually playable now.
Okay.
Yes.
With the Wastelander update,
Yes.
well, after they fixed all the bugs that were introduced with the Wastelander update,
Yes.
it's no longer completely shit.
Yes. And I'm no longer killing random players for allegedly stealing
Your
things
stuff.
from me. Yeah.
And then grave camping them
Yes.
and killing them again.
Well, they kept coming back, and
Well, yeah, because that was where their body and their stuff was. if you hadn't taken all this stuff. You did take all this stuff, didn't you,
No.
Rita?
No.
Rita, did you take all of this stuff?
One guy, yes. But in my defense,
There is no
he
defense.
was British and he was saying things to me in voice comms. I was like,
What was he saying? Would you like some crumpets with your tea?
join the British Empire, we have crumpets.
So, this idiot, right, when the Wastelanders patch came out, I've told you before, but it's so funny, I'm going to tell you again. She thought an NPC stole her stuff because this was a bug that was introduced with the Wastelander patch.
Yeah.
NPCs were stealing your stuff, and when normally an NPC has a loot table, and if you kill the NPC, they only have whatever's on their loot tables. They don't have the stuff that they stole from you. So she killed this NPC. It was like, he hasn't got my stuff. And then she saw a player. Must have been him.
Yeah.
Killed him. Went through his pockets. Doesn't have my stuff, but he's got all this other stuff. I'll have that. Poor guy comes back, tries to revive his corpse. She kills him again.
But do you know I took his loot?
Because you're nasty.
Well, that too.
Yes.
But I'm so bad at explaining things.
That's because there
Do
is
you
no
know,
explaining.
No. Do you know that video with Gordon Ramsay arguing with the guy, which is called the most British argument ever?
I don't know.
Basically, when British start arguing, does not matter what they say, it always sounds like, yeah, well, yeah, well, and it was just...
Is that what he was doing? He
and
kind
I
of.
was back at him. He was like,
he
yeah.
kinda-
I was like, "Wah." I was like,
It's. You know what that is, Rita? That's. You know when you see people fighting,
yeah.
but they're not actually fighting. They're just shoving each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the verbal equivalent of that.
Anyways, him and I were bickering, the two of us together like that. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take your stuff. And he came back. So
So you killed him again.
kill him again because he went to me. I was like, yeah. He's like, well. So
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm me. How many times did you kill him, Rita?
that guy, he, 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
Did he take your stuff, Rita?
No,
No, he didn't, did he?
but he shouldn't have said.
But he deserved it because he was British. Oldest military alliance in the world.
Oh, Polly, you need the rest of.
I know where it is. Anyway, moving on swiftly. Yeah, so I said very, very quiet gaming news week.
Yes.
Submarines are out in World of Warships.
Oh no.
They're in their own
Mode.
specific game mode. So if
Yes.
you don't sign up for a submarine battle, then you won't have to play against submarines.
Mm-hmm.
But you will also not be able to play in the submarines. So naturally, a lot of people who didn't get to go at it on the test server are playing in submarines at the moment. And they are fun.
Alright. As long as they stay in their own mode.
As long as they stay in their own game mode.
Yeah.
How are they going to balance them? Don't get me wrong, they're fun. Submarines are fun to play. But carriers are fun to play.
Yeah.
They're just no fun to play against.
Hmm.
And submarines are kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, I wish Wargaming all the luck in the world balancing those things for random battles. Because the most frustrating thing, let's say you're in a battleship and the last thing left alive on the enemy team is a submarine.
Yeah.
As long as he stays more than 6 meters below the surface, you cannot hurt him. You've
There's
got
no way.
you've got no depth charges.
Yep.
Your guns, your high explosive shells have no effect as long as they're 6 meters below the surface. You can see him,
But not do anything about
but you
it.
can't shoot him. How frustrating is that going to be?
Yeah.
In fact, you don't even have to be the last one left alive on the team. The nearest destroyer or light cruiser could be 10 kilometers away, and there's an enemy submarine right there. And there's nothing you can do while you just wait for him to reload his torpedoes.
That is even worse than art in World of Tanks.
It's worse than aircraft carriers, in my opinion.
Yes.
At least if you find a carrier, you can kill it. But you're not guaranteed to be able to kill a submarine.
Yeah.
Even if he's sitting right there in the water, visible 2 kilometres away from you. How deep is he? 8 metres. You can't touch him. A destroyer or a light cruiser could. Depth charges. Everybody else? Nope.
Bugger. Yeah.
So good luck with that. That's all I'm saying.
Now look what you've done.
It's all right. All right. We're good. Oh yes, actually it's there. It's the bottom of the first page, top of the second page. So anyway, I wanted to finish this week's episode by reading another email that I got this week.
Okay.
This is from a young man who goes by the name of Graham Blair, and apparently I knew his dad.
Okay. Oh. All right.
Yeah, this one's making me feel really fucking old. Graham wrote to me and said, on or around the 30th of April, 5 years ago, I watched an HMS Warspite video on YouTube by an individual known in whispers and hearsay as the Mighty Jingles. This was the first time I had heard Hearts of Oak, and I fell in love with the march. Last Friday, I had the privilege of hearing that march being played by the master bands of the Royal Marines as I marched past in the lead guard platoon for my passing out parade at HMS Raleigh.
No. That's amazing.
So we joined the Navy.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah. This email is just a thanks to you for being one of my 3 major inspirations for joining the Royal Navy. The other 2 being my father, who was one of your shipmates aboard the Geordie gunboat, HMS Newcastle, and the other one being his love of Forces history. Your confidence and love for the subject matter in that video made me look into the Navy for a career, and after a number of years trying to get in, the waiting list finally ran out and I got my chance. After making it through phase 1, I know deep down I've made the right career choice, and I look forward to a long career in the best Navy the world has to offer. Even if I'm just going submariner, I'm going to wait for the list of sun dodging, pop star pay and never washing jokes. He had every intention to send me an invite to his parade last Friday, however due to COVID-19 even his own family couldn't attend. Nobody turned up for my passing out parade either. If it's any, I know it's not much consolation. Nobody was ever waiting for me on the jetty when my ship came back from a deployment either. So yeah, I know how you feel. To be fair, my family did live 400 miles away from wherever my ship was, getting back. And when I did get back from my first deployment, which was the Gulf War, the 1991 Gulf War, the first one, and I eventually got off the train and made it back home to Newcastle and got the taxi. The entire street, it was like 10 o'clock at night, pitch black, and as the taxi pulled in, he was like, "Are you sure? Is this the right place?" And, yeah. The entire street were all standing outside, waving flags, with banners, "Welcome home," and we had a street party laid on for me when I came back. But other than that, yeah, nobody turned up for my passing out parade. There was never anybody waiting for me on the jetty with all the other families whenever my ship got back from a deployment, so I know how you feel. But finish the saying, once again, many thanks for the years of hard work on the channel and all the best, Able Seaman Graham Blair. And he sent me the video of his guard platoon doing, well, you're going to see it at the end of this, because I'm finishing it, this week's episode of Mingles with that video of Able Seaman Blair, the son of one of my shipmates on board HMS Newcastle.
That's amazing.
Who, thanks to partially to me, got to hear Hearts of Oak being played by the mass bands of the Royal Marines at his passing out parade at HMS Raleigh last Friday. So this is goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Take care.
And I'll watch you next time.
And now for a word from our sponsor, Able Seaman Blair, now of the Royal Navy.
Guard, recover, arms! Arms drill at the halt.